Tell me about the first time you met Big.
Wow.
Lil Kim and Biggie Smalls' story is definitely a tragic one, but this isn't just because Biggie sadly passed away in 1997. Their relationship was actually extremely messy and complicated from start to finish, and you'll never believe the devastating details about what actually happened between them. Both Lil Kim and Biggie Smalls started out rapping on the streets of Brooklyn, New York. When they first met, Biggie was already making a name for himself as one of the most talented MCs around. Lil Kim, on the other hand, was just a teenager who was living in the streets after being kicked out of her father's home. They had mutual friends in their local neighborhood, and the first time they met, when Biggie heard her rapping, he was blown away. She had something Biggie apparently hadn't seen before in any other female rapper. She could go as hard as any male rapper out there, but she still remained unashamedly feminine. He could see that she had the potential to make a big impact. He immediately asked her to join his new group, Junior Mafia. Lil Kim was only 19 when Junior Mafia released their album Conspiracy. Although the reviews weren't great, the album debuted at number 8 on the Billboard Top 200 and was certified gold in December 1995. Lil Kim was particularly popular with listeners, and she was soon in a position to release her debut solo album. And it's clear that Lil Kim never forgot how Biggie gave her first big break. Decades later, while celebrating what would have been his 50th birthday, she made it clear that she still had love for him. She made a speech where she declared that she would always ride for Big. After Lil Kim went solo, Biggie continued to support her by aiding the release of a string of her singles through Bad Boy Records, and it wasn't long before the two got closer. They started dating. Lil Kim later described Biggie as her friend, her lover, and her everything. She referred to herself as his biggest fan and even stated that they were a match made in heaven. However, from the very start, it was a very complicated relationship. In 1994, before he met Lil Kim, Biggie married singer Faith Evans. They met just 8 days earlier on the set of a photo shoot for Bad Boy Records. However, Biggie stayed married to Faith right up until his passing in 1997. Lil Kim was always the other woman, and she wasn't the only one. Other than Lil Kim, Biggie actually dated several other women during his marriage. One of them was fellow rapper Charlie Baltimore, and the details of their relationship are kind of crazy because their story has a lot of similarities to how Lil Kim and Biggie first got together. Like Lil Kim, Charlie got her start in music because of Big. They struck up a relationship in 1995. Several months in, Charlie left a voicemail on his machine of her rapping a verse that she'd written. He started encouraging her to pursue a career in hip-hop, much like he had with Lil Kim. So this was clearly behavior that he repeatedly engaged in, all while staying a married man. In 2020, Faith opened up about her marriage to Biggie to Fat Joe on Instagram Live, and obviously the question came up about his relationship with Lil Kim. And while she maintained that she had no idea at the time that her husband was dating Lil Kim, what she said next was pretty incredible. She told Joe that she'd always adored Lil Kim. There was never a case of Faith approaching Lil Kim in anger to confront her about her husband, and the feeling was clearly mutual. Lil Kim referred to Faith as a sister during the 2019 unveiling of a mural dedicated to Biggie. They even collaborated on a song in 2017. Loving You for Life was a song Faith and Lil Kim made for Faith's album, The King and I. This was an album she made posthumously with recordings of Biggie's verses. And honestly, it's pretty amazing to see that there is absolutely no bad blood between the two women. Even with such a complicated shared history, they've always been able to show each other respect and affection. Lil Kim was even able to acknowledge her love for Biggie's children. At his 50th birthday party, she declared that Tiana and CJ Wallace, whose mother is Faith, had her heart. Considering how in love with Biggie Lil Kim was at the time, it says a lot that she was able to feel so much compassion for the other people in his life, especially considering the dark times that soon came for them. Some of this actually only came out years later, and a lot of it is still shocking to this day. In 1996, Lil Kim was recording her first album, Hardcore, with the help of Biggie. During this time, she became pregnant with his child. Lil Kim kept this a secret until 1999 when she opened up about it in an interview with The Source. It's unknown if Biggie even knew about the pregnancy. Since Lil Kim felt like she had to make a heartbreaking decision, she chose to terminate the pregnancy. She explained why to The Source. and what she said was incredible to hear. She said that she already knew at the time that with the kind of relationship she had with Biggie, there was no room for a child, which might kind of explain why she had so much love for Biggie's kids that he had with other women. After hearing Lil Kim talk further about her relationship with Biggie, it's not hard to see why she made this devastating decision. In 2017, she did an interview with Ebro in the Morning, and during the interview, she made some shocking confessions. She admitted that violence was present throughout her relationship with Big. She said that it was very violent and talked about her feelings of regret. While she didn't regret her entire relationship with Biggie, she opened up about one aspect that she realized she hated about herself. She hated that for a while, it was this very violence that attracted her to the men in her life. And after hearing some of the horrific things that she'd experienced, it's honestly pretty unbelievable that her attraction to him remained. In a 2020 interview with Ed Lover on Power 105, Lil Kim revealed that Biggie apparently hurt her. While this is hard enough to hear, what she went on to say was truly shocking. She described an occasion when Biggie choked her, and he allegedly even caused her to lose consciousness. Even worse is the knowledge that other people actually knew about what Biggie was doing. In her interview with Ebro in the Morning, Lil Kim confirmed a horrifying story told by Jermaine Dupri, who claimed that he saw Biggie pull a firearm on Lil Kim one time in the studio. The only reason for this was that Lil Kim had refused to rap a verse that he'd written for her. And honestly, all of these crazy revelations make it kind of difficult to understand why. In the same interview, she also called Biggie her everything. It seemed like she had no sense of closure about the whole thing though, because she said that it is what it is. But then she also highlighted how this kind of thing really showed a bigger problem overall. She summed it up by saying that this is just how things are for women in the music industry. Men can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter if they're unfaithful or violent. There's nothing women can do about it. This was how Lil Kim described the situation back then. And honestly, it's just infuriating to imagine that this could still be the case today. And I still find it shocking that somehow, as the years went on, Lil Kim never stopped writing for Biggie. Clearly they shared a seriously complicated history, and maybe it was easier for Lil Kim to see everything she loved about Biggie after his tragic passing, especially considering the heartbreaking admission she made to The Source in 2002. She claimed that she received a phone call from Biggie just 3 days before he lost his life. He apparently called her to tell her that he loved her, and despite everything that happened between them, she still felt the same way about him. Their story is honestly pretty crazy, and I'm honestly not sure how I feel about any of this. But what do you guys think? Did you know about Lil Kim and Biggie's relationship? And what do you think about all of the stuff that she admitted about him? Let me know in the comments down below.